Alright, I am gonna make a Mario. Right now, I'm gonna start Mario Tube. There we go. So a little bit of backstory. I used to be a game developer, and in a way I still am. Used to be a writer, used to be a lot of things. But recently I was diagnosed with something called Guillain-Barré syndrome. I don't know how to pronounce it. Frankly, I don't care. I have no respect for it. I don't like it. We're not friends. Um, and it's prevented me from doing a lot of the things I used to do. It's hard to type. Hell, it's hard to put my own shoes on. It's hard to zip my pants. But game development is one of those things that we've got down to such a process, such a smooth science, that even me with fried nerves and broken hands, I can be a game developer still. I can still make at least simple, little bitty old school type games. And that's really what I'm hoping for here. Just to show you how easy it is to make a classic Mario, the classic Mario. And who knows, maybe if people like this, if people enjoy watching this process, I can take it a step further and bit by bit add some more advanced features. But for right now, I'm just going to focus on the basics. I'm doing this in Construct 3. It's a web application. You gotta pay monthly for it. The subscription fee's like $20, which sucks. But it's very flexible. It's mostly drag and drop. Very little typing or coding or anything like that, which is exactly how I like it. Even before my nerves were fried, I wasn't much of a coder. I'm a very simple man. I don't understand math or sequences. My brain's not really wired to memorize stuff. But I don't have to. You don't have to. Construct 3 is very easy to learn. It's very easy to pick up. It's very straightforward, very self-explanatory. Like you can see, I've added a little Mario here. I'm going to give him the platform mechanic. And I've already made the ground solid. And that pretty much books itself. Now, he's not animated or anything. I gotta add that separately. And the camera is not anywhere near where I want it to be. That's gonna have to be a whole separate issue. But you can see, as far as just building a platformer is concerned, hardly any time at all. Seconds. Minutes at worst. Very easy. Very simple. Very smooth. The hard part, see, this was the easy part. This is the easy part. The hard part is going to be making it actually look and feel and play like Mario. And I might not even want it to play exactly like classic Mario. I'm not going to accuse the OG of being dated. But if I were making a platformer, a side-scrolling platformer for modern tastes, I would probably modify the physics a little bit, because OG Mario is a little, what's the word I'm looking for? It's slidey, right? It was a different time. And platforming, even Mario platforming, has come a long way since then. So I would probably adapt some new sensibilities when it comes to the feel of the whole thing. Yeah, you can see I'm adding little bushes and stuff here, just little random objects. And it's very simple, which is good. Cause like I said, I ain't what I used to be. I'm, as the country song goes, I ain't what I once was, but that doesn't have to stop me. Extend this a little bit just so I've got more room to play with. I think I could probably get better. I'm gonna mess with the camera. It's been a little while since I've messed with Construct, so I don't even remember what a lot of this does. See, see if I can get the camera. Nope, that ain't it. Also, I need to turn off the animations on these. The way I'm doing these is the background objects, I'm making them all technically one object that just has different frames of animation. But then by removing the animation itself, I lock them in those positions. So if it works correctly, yeah, there you go. That camera is not what I was looking for. Let's just go back to letterbox scale. I'll figure out like a proper camera later. And right now I need to change the layer on these, because as you can see, Mario's going behind the bushes and behind the hill, and that's neat. That's definitely an effect that can be used later to make the level feel more 3D, but for now, we're going to want to send these backwards. Put them on a different layer. Z order, send to bottom of layer. There we go. And now he's going in front of everything, so the background becomes background. I'm actually going to take it a step further. I'm going to add a separate layer, like a whole separate layer, and move Mario. Move to layer 1. There we go. And that way, anytime I add any objects that need to be in the foreground, I can put them on that layer. That'll include coins and what have you. Blocks. All of those, since they'll have individual mechanics and behaviors that I'll have to put in, I'm going to do those separately. Even coins. Coins are going to have their own mechanism. But for now, I'm just going to mess with the aesthetic. Most game developers will probably tell you that the visuals are the thing you do last. Like, you don't really need to make it look like Mario before you figure out how to make it play like Mario. But I personally like bringing it all together at once. A lot of game developers save music and sound effects for last. I've never understood that. I like seeing the game come together like naturally, like piece by piece, simultaneously, not just one thing and then another thing and then another, because then you kind of lose a little bit of the juice. I don't know how to explain that any better, sadly. But like, I can be inspired musically by gameplay, and I can be inspired graphically by music, and I can be inspired by, you know what I mean? Doing it kind of simultaneously all at once, the graphics and the gameplay and the music and the sound effects. Now, of course, there's not going to be a whole lot of inspiration going on here. I'm just making a game that feels like Mario. It's not anything new or crazy. I'm not inventing any new plot or gameplay features or anything. But if I were, then working on all of the parts at the same time helps each of the parts develop at the same time. They feed into each other. It's a creative process. And that's also probably different if, say, you're working on a team. But I don't. I've always been a solo developer. Mario Tube, save. And there you go. You have the very basics of a Mario. In very little time at all, very little effort, no code, just cracked open Construct 3, dropped a bunch of assets I found on Spriter's Resource, and we're off to the races. And if you guys like this, if you want to see more, I can develop it further. Like I said, coins, bricks, pipes. Actually, I think I can put in some static pipes. Give me a second. Yeah. Frame. Get a little pipe lengthener there in case I feel like it. And this is just going to be for show, but I can add actual functioning pipe mechanics later if I so feel the need. So we get like a little basic baby pipe. Let's go ahead and give that the solid behavior so that it's solid. copy that, drag that over here. And again, this is just for show. I'm just showing you what I can do and how easy it is. Same principle as before. This is actually the same object, but it's got multiple animations, or multiple frames of animation, so I can switch it to the next frame, and now it looks like a full pipe. And it's solid too, because it is all the same object, so now I can hop on the pipe and it's solid. Hadoop. Very, very easy. Very easy. And as far as the basics, I think that's about covered. Next time I would probably add breakable bricks, or coins would be really easy to add. Coins would be a very quick, very simple process. So I'd probably work on that next if I continue down this route. But I don't know if this is entertaining. I don't know if anybody's into this or not. I'm still very much new to this YouTube thing, so let me know. Hit me up in the comments. Tell me what you want. Tell me if you're into this. And we'll go from there. Like and subscribe. Thank you and good night.